the ozone layer. Apart from ozone layer, presence of ions, I could have I could have told about meteors as well. Right? So this is ulkapat, right? Anyway, so thermosphere, and beyond thermosphere, you do have the exosphere, but around above 500 kilometers, we can have another layer that is what called exosphere. So it begins at about 500 kilometers above Earth and does not have a specific outer limit. And so it is not having a specific outer limit. So satellites orbit Earth in the exosphere. That is what we can consider. It's altogether earlier we were considering thermosphere as the layer wherein we do have the presence of these. In fact, that is exactly in the exosphere. So satellites orbit Earth in the exosphere. And for what purpose it is important, you could have here the visualization. So communication on the Earth depends on these satellites which are in this particular region. So that will transmit information used for television, radio broadcasts, data and photos, in weather reports, long distance communication, right, or long distance telephone calls. So for all these purposes, we are using the satellite. Even your live commentaries, so live match streaming, all these things which are happening through this particular satellite. And this is what we have to consider, right? And therefore, I may say that this is the fifth layer of the atmosphere in the form of exosphere, which will start above 500 kilometers. And this way you do have these different layers. This is to just summarize what you do have in the first four layers. So troposphere, wherein we live, stratosphere, which will be containing the ozone layer, mesosphere, wherein we'll have burning of the meteors, and which is termed as the coldest one. Thermosphere, which is having temperature, you can see around 1800 degrees centigrade, where the satellite orbit, which is the satellite Earth orbit is there, right? So in this way, you can simply, or in a single slide, you can summarize these things, which are really necessary. Now, after knowing what exactly atmosphere is, what are the different types of atmosphere is, and then how they are facilitating different things, whether it is human life, whether it is existence of ozone layer, whether it is existence of meteors, whether it is let's say satellite orbit, right? Still the question remains, what is the importance of this particular atmosphere, right? So as far as knowing the importance of atmosphere, we need to consider some of the things. So very first one, it always provides necessary gases for living things to survive, So obviously, which are, as far as oxygen is concerned, so all the human beings, animals require oxygen. Then the plants require nitrogen, right? So necessary gases for living things. It regulates the heat from sun to just the right temperature for the life on Earth. Again, there will be absorption of the, if you just think ionosphere, if could not absorb most of the heat radiated by sun, then what could be the scenario on Earth? Right. In the month of May in Maharashtra, in some of the districts, it is very, very unease to live in, wherein temperature passes 40 degrees centigrade. Sometimes it goes to 45 degrees centigrade, right? So you can just consider without being absorbed. So that means what? It regulates the heat from the sun so that the right temperature will be maintained for the life on Earth. Further, it plays an important role in the water cycle. Rain, water accumulation, water vapors, vaporization, again vapor accumulation, clouding, and then further rain. So this particular cycle called water cycle, right? Otherwise, what we could have do, right? So till now, there are no ways for two things: preparing blood and water in the laboratories. Fine. So you have to maintain their cycles. So it plays very important role as far as water cycle is concerned. As far as ozone layer is concerned, which is always protecting the earth by absorbing the very harmful ultraviolet rays and protecting the uh, human life or the living uh, living organisms I may consider, right, on the earth. Further, it protects earth from small meteors, which are also important, right? कारण उल्कापात ही गोष्ट काही तशी काही एक्सपेक्टेड किंवा आपल्या आसपास व्हावी अशी नाहीये, right? Because it always brings a lot of heat, and obviously it will damage, right, the living things on the earth. So that's what you do have in this particular case. Now there are some other things which are related to uh, the consequences of this. So what happens if we consider the pollution, right? Now it slightly turns towards the pollution, but my approach is just to tell you what happens in the chlorofluorocarbons or some of these harmful gases get emitted in the atmosphere, and then they will have their own chemical reaction with the ozone layer or the oxygen in the atmosphere, and they will form their own oxides. So here you do have SO4, right, silver, sulfur oxide, nitrous oxide, right, different versions as like SO4, SO2, then ammonium, or you have ammonia, and altogether you can have the emission detection, and then obviously rain, right? And that rain will contain these acids, right? So you can consider sulfuric acid, right, or nitrous acid, and obviously these acids which are going to harm the uh, different things on the earth, right? So acidification of bodies of the water, this consequence, damage to the vegetation, obviously, right, and then damage to building materials statues as well. And that's the reason around or nearby Taj Mahal nowadays you will not have any kind of factory, right? So they have fixed a circumference. So within that you will not have any kind of, because long back it started decaying, it started affecting the uh, Taj Mahal, the material of Taj Mahal, and because of that now it is banned. So how it damages, fine, that is what you can consider, fine. That is you do have in the acid rain. Right. Next point is there, that is greenhouse effect. That will take a certain time, so we will see it in next session. So anything which you would like to ask or comment on, you can. Okay, if nothing else, then let's stop here. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we'll see some new things in tomorrow's session. Okay, I'm going to quit this meeting. Thank you, everyone.